Hey, what's going on, my fellow idiots? Welcome back for another episode of Idiot Proof Cooking. So the other week when I made those cinnamon roll squares, I had a lot of fun making them because it took an amazing dessert, cinnamon rolls, and made them super easier in squares. Like, they were way easier than making the rolls. So I wanted to do the same today, but with another kind of finicky dessert. I'm talking about cheesecake. So we're going to make cheesecake squares today. And you know what? They are fantastic. I'm gonna make a berry swirl one. They are so damn delicious, and best of all, easier than the actual cheesecake. They are super easy. They come together in no time. So let's get into making them, shall we? Okay, so let's first tackle the berry sauce that is inevitably going to get swirled into our cheesecake. So get yourself out 1.5 cups of whatever frozen berries you want. I'm using mixed berries here, so that's blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries. And then just pour them into a decently sized pot like I just did. Next in, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of white granulated sugar, and we're going to thicken this up with 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. So pour that in. Now just bear with me here because all the cornstarch stuck to my bowl. And then last but not least, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of water just so that everything combines with the frozen berries. Give it a quick mix together, and then we're going to throw this on a burner on a medium heat for the next half an hour until the berries all release all of their moisture and they get nice and saucy like this. Now what we're going to do is get ourselves out a bowl and a metal strainer, and we're going to strain the sauce because we really just want like a pure sauce out of this. We don't want any of the berry seeds. We don't want any of the leftover mash. So pour your berry sauce into the strainer and then just mash it with a spatula over the bowl, and you're just going to get the concentrated berry sauce. As you can see here, you might have to do it in a couple of rounds. It might not all fit into your strainer at once, but yeah, mash all of the berries until you get the concentrated berry sauce like this. Look at how gorgeous that is. Now it's still piping hot, but it smells amazing. And you know what, let's give this a quick taste test here. And you know what, the heat isn't too bad, but yeah, that is amazing tasting. All right, so what we're going to do is throw this in the fridge for 1 to 2 hours to let it cool down. And while it is cooling down, let's tackle the base layer of the cheesecake bars, the crust. I'm going to make an Oreo crust of this, so what I'm going to do is add 20 Oreo cookies into my food processor, and I'm just going to process them all together for, you know, anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute until you get a nice fine Oreo cookie crumble, much like this. So we're going to pour it into a bowl here, and let's take a minute to appreciate those delicious, delicious Oreos. This is going to make one hell of a crust. So now all we got to do is add in 6 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter, pour it into your Oreo crumbs, and then mix it together with a spoon or a fork or whatever mixing utensil you have until the butter and Oreo crumbs are thoroughly combined. Next, you're going to want to get out an 8 by 8 inch baking pan, line it with some parchment paper, and it's time to pour the Oreo crumbs in. So just pour them out on top of the parchment paper, and then all we're going to do is flatten this out. So I'm just going to use the fork I used to mix this all together, and I'm just going to spread the Oreo crumbs out, pressing them down until you get a nice flat even layer of Oreo crumbs. Look at that. And now's the time to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit because we're going to bake the crust for about 10 minutes or so. And while it's baking, let's move on to the final layer, the filling layer. I've got myself here a cup of white chocolate chips. I'm just going to melt them in the microwave in 20-second intervals until they come out nice and melted like this. Oh my goodness, that is gorgeous. I love white chocolate. But let's set that aside for a moment and get out another mixing bowl. I think I've said before, you use a lot of dishes when baking. Well, I do anyways. So what we're going to do is add in 2 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese. Let them sit at room temperature for like 30-40 minutes to soften up. And then we're going to add in 1/3 cup of white granulated sugar. Give me a second here. I got to scrape some out of the bottom. And then go get out your electric mixer and cream the sugar and cream cheese together until they're thoroughly combined. Really will only take like a minute or two of mixing it all together. Next in is some lemon juice. So I've cut a large lemon in half, and I'm going to use the juice of half of a large lemon. It's about a tablespoon or so. Next in is some vanilla paste or vanilla extract, if that's all you have, about a tablespoon of that. And then we're going to add in some all-purpose flour, specifically 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour, and then a pinch of kosher salt. I'd say like 1/8 of a teaspoon. Mix that all together again with your electric mixer. Just mix it for another 30-45 seconds. And then we're going to add in 2 eggs, 2 large eggs left out at room temperature for, again, 30-40 minutes. So crack in the first egg, mix it all together until it's thoroughly combined, and then just repeat the process with the second egg. Crack it in, and then with your electric mixer, mix it all together for a minute or so until the egg is thoroughly combined. And then we're going to go get that white chocolate that we melted, and we're going to pour this in as well. So I tried to use a spoon at first, which was kind of a dumb move. Use a spatula. That's obviously better for scraping it all out of the bowl. And then, wouldn't you know, you're going to use your electric mixer one last time to mix the white chocolate in with everything else. After that, go get your Oreo cookie crust that you've baked, and it's time to start spooning this in. So I'm going to put in half of the cheesecake mixture at first, and then I'm just going to use my spatula to spread it all out, all to all corners of the pan. There we go. Look at that. It's coming together nicely. Now what we're going to do is go get our berry sauce that's been chilling in the fridge. I've had it in the fridge for about 2 hours now, and we're going to drizzle some of the sauce on top of the cheesecake filling. I would say just a couple of tablespoons, 3 or 4 of them. So drizzle it on top. Look at that. It's looking nice. And then go get the rest of your cheesecake filling, the other half of it, and pour it on top. So you're going to get a little bit of middle layer of the berry sauce, and that's what you're looking for here. So carefully spread out the cheesecake filling. You might get some smearing with the berry sauce, obviously, but that's okay. And then we're going to get the rest of our berry sauce and drizzle on another couple tablespoons. Look at this. Then go get yourself out a wooden skewer and start swirling the berry sauce all together with the cheesecake filling until it looks decorative, as best as I can describe it here. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to bake this for 30 to 35 minutes until it comes out looking much like that. Now, you'll be able to tell it's done because it's set along the edges, but it's still pretty jiggly in the center. Now, we've got to let this cool down for quite a few hours, so I'm going to let it cool down for an hour at room temperature and then 5 to 6 additional hours in the fridge. After 5 to 6 hours in the fridge, it's sunken in a little bit, but that's what you're looking for, and it looks perfect. Perfect. No cracks or anything. So let's get it out of the baking pan. Just lift it out with the parchment paper. That's why we use parchment paper. Look at how easy it was to take out. And then it's time to cut into it. So I'm going to use my Vosteed knife and just cut it into squares. Cut them into squares as big or as small as you want. And then let's get a corner piece, my favorite. Look at how gorgeous this is. Look at the swirl in there. Look at the cheesecake. Look at the Oreo layer. Oh man. All right, let's go in and taste test these. I am excited at how these turned out. And wow, these are decadent. They are so good. Holy, these are good. Every single part of this was amazing. And the best part was they were super easy, way easier to make than regular old cheesecake. Man, these are good. You should try making them at home. I guarantee you'll love them. But you know what? Let's call it there. Let's call it an episode. I had a lot of fun making these today. And if you did enjoy what you saw here today, why don't you drop me a comment, like the video, or even subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching Idiot Proof Cooking, and we'll see you again soon.